Hello, welcome to my series of videos regarding bankruptcy. In contemplating filing for bankruptcy, there are a few alternatives to consider, such as debt consolidation, credit repair, direct negotiations with a creditor, do nothing, or perhaps do a bankruptcy. Today, we are going to talk about one of the alternatives you have when you have debt problems. My name is Andres Montejo. I am a bankruptcy attorney here, and I only practice in South Florida. You can find my practice information below this video. So many clients come to me asking me if they should do debt consolidation versus filing for bankruptcy. In this video, I will give you the pros and cons of using debt consolidation. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you what is debt consolidation. Basically, debt consolidation companies, they go and negotiate with the people you owe, and they try to negotiate down the debt to get you into a fixed payment over a period amount of time. This seems to be the general logistics of doing debt consolidation. What people don't understand is that the fees are usually extremely high. One debt consolidation company will charge you 25% of what you gross amount owe at the time you enter into negotiations. For example, let's say your total debt was $10,000. So their service fee for negotiating the $10,000 debt will be $2,500. And let's say they negotiate your debt to 50 cents on the dollar. You're going to pay the credit cards $5,000 plus the credit repair fee or the credit consolidation fee of $2,500. So you're actually paying $7,500 or 75% of your original debt. This creates more confusion, and I believe that when people sign up for these debt consolidation services, they're unaware of these things. They got to keep this in mind. Suppose you enter into you have not $10,000 worth of debt, suppose you have $60,000 worth of debt. So their fee for that $60,000 to consolidate your debt will be $15,000. And let's say they get it to half, that's 30 plus 15, that would be $45,000, a net savings of about 15. Here's the catch though. Once they negotiate, and once they have your credit cards and they negotiate each individual settlement, because they have to negotiate with each party to get them down to a 50% discount or a 55% discount. So every time they get a settled amount, then they're entitled to get the debt consolidation fee. So let's say that you did have, let's go back to the example, let's say you had $60,000 worth of debt, and among 6 credit cards at different values. And so let's assume that they negotiated card 1 that you had a $30,000 debt, that they negotiated it for $15,000. Well, as soon as that negotiation has been approved by the lender, then now you're on the hook with the debt consolidation company for 25% of that $35,000, which in this case would be $7,500. Okay, so here you are making the established payments that you think you're making on a monthly basis that you agreed to when you started doing the consolidation with the debt consolidation company. And so now you're making monthly payments, let's say of $500. Well, guess what? The $500 are first going to go into paying their fees. In our example just that we did, we're going to pay the $500 a month would go into paying the $7,500. So payments directly to the creditors will probably not come until they've gotten their fees inside their pocket. So one of the main concerns that I always hear from people that do debt consolidation is, I've paid this whole year, but I still owe the same. Well, guess what? First, they're collecting their fees. And, this is pretty standard procedure between debt consolidation companies. and people aren't aware of this. So what happens if, a year later you don't have work and you can't even pay those fees? Well, guess what? I mean, you never paid down nothing. You ended up paying fees to the debt consolidation company. How does that compare with bankruptcy, by the way? Well, in bankruptcy, you actually pay a flat fee if you're filing a Chapter 7 or a Chapter 13, and these fees are regulated by the court. So people can't just charge you $15,000 or something like that. Chapter 7s typically go around for $2,500, $3,000, and Chapter 13 typically go for about $5,000, which you can pay over time as well. But in those instances, you're not paying an exorbitant amount to write off the debt. And if they're trying to make you think that it's going to be better to debt consolidate versus bankruptcy, well, guess what? If you do a bankruptcy in Chapter 7, all your debts are discharged within 3 or 4 months, while in the debt consolidation, your debts aren't discharged until you've made all the payments that you agreed upon. So if you think that your credit is going to look better, it's going to look better if you do bankruptcy first than you do it later. Because if you do debt consolidation, your credit will only start improving once you've made all your payments. And it will always show. If your fear is that if you're doing bankruptcy, it's going to show that you've done bankruptcy, it doesn't matter, because if you're doing debt consolidation, you're still going to be showing like you're fixing up your debt and you're paying it in installments. So it's not like there's one advantage over the other. So here's my recommendation. Don't get hooked on these debt consolidation schemes. If I were you, I would do bankruptcy. I hope this video gives you an explanation of how that works. Have a nice day.